you, Frank, are the best of the best.
I need a bathroom. I need this room immediately.
There's a line, man.
Police business.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 comedy The Naked Gun. The film is directed by Akiva Schaffer and it stars Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, Paul Walter Hauser, Danny Houston, CCH Powder and Kevin Durand. Right, okay. This follows Lieutenant Frank Drebin Jr., the son of Leslie Nielsen's character from the original Naked Gun films, and he is, well, an imbecile. What else can you say? He is trying to basically solve a crime of someone who drove off a cliff that is essentially tied to a bank job that leads him to bad guy Danny Houston's Richard Kane. Along the way, he meets Pamela Anderson's character, Beth Davenport, who is the sister of the guy that dove off the cliff and is desperate for Frank Drebin's help. Along the way, they get into all sorts of misadventures and escapades. Right, what are my thoughts on The Naked Gun? Let's be honest. You ain't going to watch this film for the plot. So the plot, let's be honest, is not really that important in these films. So where do we start with this one? Well, the trailers, I suppose. I mean, when I first heard that they were redoing The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson, I know I said Leslie Nielsen then, with Liam Neeson in the title role, a bit of me died inside because I'm kind of thinking, how is that ever going to work? How is it going to work? And then you kind of remember that Leslie Nielsen, before Airplane and the Naked Gun films, was essentially a serious actor. But he's remembered now, obviously, for his comedic talents. So then part of me was kind of like, okay, well, they might pull this off. And then the first trailer dropped, and I think I've done reactions to both the trailers on this channel. And it looked good. It looked decent, I have to say. And the second one, it looked very, very promising. That sense inside that it was going to be an absolute disaster. You know, the trailers laid a bit of that to rest. So I've actually been quite looking forward to watching this. I'm not going to lie. You know, we don't get, I don't think, enough comedies these days. I love a good comedy. There's nothing like it. A really stupid, silly comedy can be just brilliant, and we don't get enough of them. So, yeah, I was kind of looking forward to this one. And after watching it, what are my thoughts? Well, it's okay, but it isn't the barnstorming success I think that either some people are claiming or some reviews are saying. It is watchable. There are some gags in it that work, but there's a lot of gags that fall absolutely flat on their arse. And that's the thing about comedy. It's very subjective. If you don't like these kind of spoof films, if you don't like the original Naked Gun films, you know, or the scary movie films, that kind of, you know, things that spoof everything, you're not going to like the humour in this. It's really that simple. It's very slapstick. It's really stupid. But it's undeniably funny on occasion. Just not enough in my book. There were some scenes that really did make me giggle. The scenes with him showing the footage from his body cam, needing the toilet and all that kind of stuff. That was funny. There were some other scenes that I thought were funny, where they're using like the giant claw to lift the car out with the thing, the kind of thing you see in pub fairs. There were some fun interactions with him and Pamela Anderson, and they had great chemistry. There's no denying that. Danny Houston, who is, I mean, he's got an on-screen legacy of playing bad guys, so he's an obvious bad guy in a film like this, but he fully embraces the silliness of the film. And of course, so does Liam Neeson, who does everything completely deadpan, and it works. Not as much as Leslie Nielsen, because I think what made it work with Leslie Nielsen most of the time was that he was completely oblivious, but some of the facial expressions and stuff that he pulled were just comedy gold. So it's hard to say this is a bad film because it isn't a bad film. It's they tried to recapture something that it's 30 years old. I mean, when was the last Naked Gun film? The 90s, I suspect. So I mean, this kind of humour, does it really fit in today's, cinema going audience? Yes, I do think there's a place for it personally. I just think this kind of was a little bit, I don't know, sloppy with some of the laughs. I just felt like some of them really didn't work, and actually made me cringe a little bit once or twice. But you might watch them bits and absolutely crease yourself laughing. They might really tickle your funny bone. So it is one of them where I think anybody that goes to watch this, if you kind of lose your inhibitions a little bit and prepare to watch something very, very silly, it's definitely going to raise a smile once or twice with you with some of the humour that's in it. I think they did spoil some of the best gags in the trailer, which I think is a shame. The gag where they've got O.J. Simpson's picture up is, I thought that was great, but the trailer ruined that. They steal a little bit as well, I think, from things like Austin Powers. The scene in the tent with Austin Powers where they're pulling things out of the bag and it looks like there's something really sexual going on. Well, there's a very similar scene in this with Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson in his apartment. It goes a bit more extreme in this, and it is actually quite funny, but it does feel like you've seen it before, some of the gags here. But it definitely raises a smile here and there. I think credit has to go, to Liam Neeson for kind of agreeing to do this. You know what I mean? He's kind of like, sod it. You know what I mean? And why not? I'm 73 now. I'm just going to have a go and have fun with it. And he definitely did have fun with it. He really did fully embrace the role of the part. And it is funny to see this guy who's done an absolute catalogue of action thrillers over the last 20 years, 15, 20 years, to this. It's odd seeing him be Frank Drebin Jr. But there is definitely some misplaced humour here. You know what I mean? They try and bring in Frank Drebin Sr. He was like, "Oh, Daddy, give me a sign," sort of thing, and the sign he gives him later on, you just kind of shaking your head. It's like, really? Is that the best you got? But I think it's fair to say that I am slightly disappointed with this. It is fun, it's watchable, and it is definitely silly. It's one of those films you're going to have to watch 2 or 3 times to probably see all the gags and to let them kind of sink in. So it may be one of those films that improves on viewings the more you see it, because it's almost like there's just so much going on you can't catch it all in the film. But I did quite enjoy it. It's a fun, entertaining film, but it is not the comedy blockbuster that I hoped it was going to be. But fingers crossed it does well at the box office, because me personally, I want to see more comedies being made. So if this is a success, then it's good for us to get more comedies. So yeah, thanks for checking out this review, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the film if you've seen it or if you're going to see it. And I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.